There we go. There we go. All right. I'm live over there too. Let me delete this. Edit video. And delete it. Yeah, I'll just trash this one. Sometimes you delete. All right, now that that's done, wow, my channel. All right, there we go. Let's try this again. I know Queen Peckerwood. Let's try this one more time. All right. And so people are actually complaining that the officer used physical force. My question is going to be, what should the officers do? Somebody tell me, what should the officers do? When you're trying to fight the police, trying to kill the police, what should they do? If they can't hit you with the fist when you're trying to grab their gun, if the police cannot grab you in a chokehold, a reverse chokehold, if they can't tase you, if they can't mace you, then what else can they do? I said it today, the black community is really becoming unreasonable. Well, we've been unreasonable, but it's getting to the point now, it's just totally unreasonable. It seems as if this false belief, just let them go. It doesn't matter. You don't need to make that arrest. When clearly the young man is wrong, people say, let him go. It's becoming a point to where nobody can reasonably have a conversation. And you know what? Jitterbug679 said retreat. And you know what? I really think, hello, Harley Guerrero, I really think that's what people in the black community want. They want the police to retreat when it comes to these young black thugs. You know, Roland Martin, and I'll play this tomorrow, Lord willing, live and see it. Roland Martin was on an interview, and he said because of poverty is why we got crime. And when you look in all races that's in poverty, the black community by far does more crime. Everybody else that's in poverty don't commit the violent acts and the crime that the black community commits. I'm going to show you this video from later on when it comes to Roland Martin, because this is just ridiculous. It's to a point where somebody has to say, cut it out. Cut it out. And a lot of people don't want to say that because they don't want to be considered racist. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Your communities and things are falling apart because people don't want to be considered racist. You cannot fix the problem if you're scared to address the problem. You cannot fix the problem if you are scared to address the problem. No other community has numbers these high. And it's always somebody who these so-called black activists who are always out here giving these excuses because they want sympathy. They want compassion. They don't want the truth. They don't want the truth. They want sympathy and compassion and money. I'm going to play this clip, and it's with Roland Martin. The black conservative perspective is where this comes from. I am so glad that he got this video because the guy took on Roland Martin. He took on Roland Martin and shut him down. And it's just downright embarrassing. Nope, anybody that has lived around predominantly black areas see the crime. Here we go.
Now, to address his argument on the correlation between poverty and crime, well, there's some studies that do indicate that there's some correlation, but they're wildly inconsistent. In fact, there are other studies, like a study done by Columbia University, that show, for example, when you study poverty among Asians in New York City, the crime rate is quite low, even though the poverty rate is high. Okay, it's like over 20%. But the crime rate is low, right? So again, explain that. If poverty is what leads to crime, then we should see crime in every neighborhood that is impoverished. But that's not.
Now I want y'all to look at those numbers. I want you to look at those numbers so you can get a perspective. Asians are in poverty. Blacks that are in poverty. Whites that are in poverty, and Latinos. But look who has the most crime. That's not a poverty issue. That's a community standards issue. See, when you break these numbers out, everybody starts to run. Nobody wants to talk about these numbers. Everybody wants to talk about an excuse. I want you to look at the numbers. The Asian community, percent of New York City, 14.3. Percent of poverty, 23%. Murder rate, 1.2. Rape, 3.4. Robbery, 20.8. Assault, 6.2. Now, let's go to the favorite one everybody likes to talk about. Let's go to them evil white folks. Oh, it's time to go after, hey, Miss Barbara, them evil white folks. Oh, them evil white folks. Percent of New York, that they are 31.9% of New York. Percent of poverty, they are 12% of poverty in New York. Murder, 0.46. So in other words, unless you watching Law and Order on television, them the only white folk you seen being killed up there, doing the murdering. Rape 1.5. They're literally 1.4, robbery 14.9. And assault 8.3. You know all them neo-Nazis you heard up in New York? Must not be a lot of them. Now, let's go to the Latinos. You know Latinos, Puerto Ricans and Dominicanos. Them the ones up in New York. They are 28% of those in poverty. They 28% of New York. 23% are in poverty. 23%. 4.6 of them murder. 4.6% of the murders in New York are committed by Latinos that are in poverty. 9% of the rape. Puerto Rican Day Parade. You know when J-Lo out there twerking and shaking it, she better watch it. Puerto Rican Day Parade, you better be careful. 9.0%. Robbery, 99.7% of all robberies in New York are by Puerto Ricans and Dominicanos. And assault, 33.6. Last and especially not least, the black community. See, now I'm one to bet you there's somebody in the comment section. You see, you happy to see us black people. Don't blame this on everybody else. Blame this on black folk. When it comes to the percent, we are 23.8% of New York. 23.8%. 19% in poverty. Murders, 10% of all murders in New York, black. Remember they used to say white folk be raping? Nope, black folk done took that title. 12% of all rapes in New York by somebody black. 223% of robberies are black. 223.7 black. Assault, 51.4. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think that's because of racism or personal choice? Black Russian said, remember, diversity is our strength. So somebody have to explain. At 1.2% of 100,000, Asian murder arrests are nearly 1/9 of black race. It has nothing to do with poverty. It has to do with people telling these young kids and telling these young men, you have you are being victimized by white folk. I'm going to let this whole video play out. I'm going to let the whole video play out. I'm not going to interrupt it. I'm going to let you guys just see the whole video. Because somebody said I'll keep stopping it, trying to focus on parts to make black men look bad. Okay, here you go.
Hey man, you can stay in your car. You can stay in the car, man. You can have a seat. What? Have a seat. So I'm stopping you for going 50 miles an hour to 25.
What are you talking about?
So I need you to sit down.
I think you're messing with me.
So no, I'm not.
I think you're messing with me. I think you're messing with me.
No, you need to sit down.
No,
have a seat. Have a seat.
You're messing
okay.
with me.
I'm not messing with you. You need to have a seat.
Why are you grabbing me? I want to talk to somebody.
Okay, have a seat. Have a seat.
Why are you grabbing me?
Have a seat now.
Why are you grabbing me?
Have a seat. Have a seat.
I haven't done anything.
Okay. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. He's trying to grab my gun. He's trying to grab my gun. Get off my gun! Get off my gun! Get off my gun! Get off my gun!
You know what you did?
Lay out flat on your back! Lay out flat on your back!
You know what you did? You kept grabbing. You kept grabbing. You put up and grab. Hey, I gave up.
All right. 7, 12, I'm in custody.
7-11.
Now, I didn't interrupt anything. I didn't interrupt anything. I did not. I just played the video out. Now, let me ask you a question. Was that police officer in any way wrong? Was that police officer... Okay, somebody said arrest rates. Okay, arrest rates per 100,000, not percentages. Okay. I stand corrected. When I was playing those numbers showing the percentage, rates, that was, well, percent-wise, but it's for every 1.2 per 100,000. So for every 100, that don't sound right. 100,000 murders. That don't sound right. That don't sound right. 100,000 murders. But there, once again, young black men are told, you don't have to obey. You don't have to listen. Get out. I don't know what in the world is our community telling young black men. You know, I keep hearing about black people having the talk. Black people having the talk. What talk? Well, you know the talk when a police officer pulls you over. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, 3 and 9. Turn the light on. Don't go in your glove compartment. Sit there and say, yes, officer, may I help you? That's not the talk that's actually said in the handbook, in the driver's handbook. There is nothing special about the talk. It's just plain old simple what is taught when you are pulled over in every driver's ed book. Oh, so you're admitting black community doing something other than what is taught in the driver's ed book. So are you telling me basically that the talk is nothing but common sense? The rules. That's not a talk. That's instruction. That's nothing difficult about that talk. I mean, it gets to the point to where some people are going to have to ask the question, do you actually even care in your community? I have to tell my children, sit and hold the steering wheel so the officer can see your hands. Don't reach for the glove compartment. Have the light turned on. And only do as the officer say. Everybody is told that. That's in the driver's handbook. But let's get back to this video. Because what in the world does somebody see wrong in this video with what the cop did?
Man, you can stay in your car. You can stay in the car, man.
Why did he jump out of that car? Why did he jump out of the car? Oh, when them police officers pull you, you better be prepared because you know they're going to jump you. That's what somebody like that's been told. No respect for authority.
You can have a seat. What? Have a seat. So I'm stopping you for going 50 miles an hour to 25.
What are you talking about?
So I need you to sit down.
I think you're messing with me.
So no, I'm not.
Why you pulling me, man? Huh? Why you pulling me? You see that? That gangster mentality? Why you pulling me, man? Why you pulling me? Why you pulling me, man? Why you pulling me? Because you broke the law, numbnuts. That's why I pulled you. You broke the law, numbnuts. How about that? How about you broke the law, numbnuts? And I'm going to give you a ticket for speeding.
I think you're messing with me. I think you're messing with me.
No, you need to sit down.
No.
Have a seat.
And so he's walking up on the officer. So let me ask you a question. Is he high? Is he high on drugs? Is he high on drugs? Is it wrong or racist to ask, hey, is bruh high on drugs? He surely act it. He act like he's high on drugs.
You're okay. I'm not messing with you. You need to have a seat.
Why are you grabbing me?
Now, the officer got you pushed back with his arm. He's still approaching the officer. As long as young black men are taught we can do what we want, say what we want, act like we want, and regardless of what, them officers shouldn't put their hands on you. See, that's the problem. It don't matter. It don't matter what he did. Yes, it do. Same thing I said about Tyree Nichols. His dumb behind will be alive today if he hadn't resisted arrest. It does matter. It does matter. It don't matter. Yes, it does. It does matter. And somebody need to sit here and say, it does matter. And you know what? Here's what's so bad. It is black it is black people every day who try to live above the stereotypes. Too many in the black community want to associate this behavior for being black. You can't tase them. You can't hit them with the nightstick. You can't mace them. You can't choke. Every time you go to talk about something, a technique of restraint, black folk want to yell somebody who died. Put him in a chokehold. Oh my God, Eric Garner. Eric Garner was out there just selling some loosies. He won't doing nothing. He was selling some loosies. He still was breaking the law. Eric Gardner would not comply and go. Eric Gardner died because he was fighting with the police. He was bigger than the police officers, and the only way to bring him down was a reverse chokehold. Oh, I want to thank Miss Lisa Burke. Miss Lisa Burke, thank you for the kindness and generosity and a donation to the page. Thank you, Miss Lisa. Thank you for your kindness through Cash App. Thank you for the blessing. The only way to bring Eric Gardner down was a chokehold, so you can't choke. Can't hit a nightstick. Remember how they did Rodney King? Can't you? Oh, Lord, whenever a police officer hits you with a nightstick, it's going to be another Rodney King. Can't hit him with that. Can't tase him. Sandra Bland, or this young black boy in Raleigh who was fighting with the police and they tased him and he died of a heart attack or he died. Oh, see, they don't need to be tasing people. So you can't tase them. You can't tase them. You can't hit them with a nightstick. You can't put them in a reverse chokehold. So what's next? Put them hands on them. Oh, can't do that. Oh my God, they beating them up. They beating them up like did Tyree Nichols. Oh Lord, don't hit them. You're beating them up. You can't hit them with your hands. Can't mace them. So tell me, what reasonably can a police officer do to control the situation? What can that police officer do to control the situation? Is that fair? Is that fair to the police officers to have to deal with this? Nobody is out here hunting black men. No police are out here hunting black men. It's that black men have a problem with authority. And it starts at home with no father in the home. And oh yeah, let me tell y'all a little secret. Let me tell y'all a little secret real quick. A lot of these women who remarry and marry men and they already have children, they won't let the men discipline the children. Let me say that again. Let me say that one more time. When a lot of these women who already have children remarry a man or try to marry a man, because a lot of them been knocked up, nobody married them, but they get a guy who's willing to marry them, the first thing they tell is, I discipline my children. And the kids in the home run around like animals because the man in the home isn't disciplining them because the mother said, them ain't your kids, so don't be whooping them and stuff. I have them. So basically that stepfather ain't no good. Let me say that one more time so you can understand. These women marry a man. When they marry a man, they say, I got my kids. Don't worry about them. I discipline them. So that young boy in the house has no respect for the man of the house. That's why he talk like he want to, say stuff like he want to, and it's a big fight always in the house. It's always an argument because the man trying to tell her, hey, your son need to stop doing that. I'll handle it. Don't you worry about it. I'll handle it. Why in the world are you going to marry somebody you can't discipline if you can't discipline their child? Well, they daddy in his life, their daddy in their life, their daddy's in their life, then their daddy should have married you. Let me say that again. A lot of good black men try to marry these black women who have children. And the first thing they want to say, well, his daddy in his life, so you really don't have to do nothing for him. Don't worry about discipline. I tell his daddy. Have totally undermined the authority in the house, so the young boy or young girl grow up in the house with no respect for the authority. And I'll say this again. If his daddy is so much in his life, he should have married you instead of stuck you back out here unmarried. Have you ever thought, Jamal, I didn't want to marry him? Then if you stupid enough to have a baby by a man you unwilling to marry, you screwed up from the beginning. That's a big problem too. That's a huge problem in my community. A lot of these women like to have children by men they're unwilling to marry. He got good hair. He look good. He got a good education. I know he'll make a good father. If he'll make a good father but not make a good husband, you don't need to marry him. You got the whole family thing totally screwed up. He's supposed to be a good husband first, then be a good daddy. Let me say that one more time. He is supposed to be a good husband first before he be a good daddy. But too many in the black community have accepted that they're going to have children out of wedlock, and the person they marry is not going to be the father of their children. And the problem in the black community that is prevalent, and nobody's willing to address it. Nobody's willing to call it out and say, hey, y'all got it wrong. It's not slavery. It's not Jim Crow. It's not segregation. It's not redlining. It's your behavior and your acceptance of immoral, out of sync family structure. You're right, Jitterbug 679. It used to be Carl Carl and Casey sitting in a tree. Kissing. First comes love, then comes marriage. Then come Casey with the baby carriage. But in a black community, Rashad and Tamika sitting in a tree. Fuing. First comes sex and no marriage. She a single mother with a baby carriage. Let me say it one more time so y'all can hear the song. Because somebody didn't hear the song. Let me go there with the song. Rashad and Tamika sitting in the tree. Fuing. First comes sex. And no marriage. Tamika's a single mother pushing a baby carriage. If the baby born in wedlock or not, it's not the baby fault how they born. You don't supposed to honor that. See, the black churches have become houses of sin where everything goes long as you got love. Well, Jamal, love covers a multitude of sin. That's not what he's saying. When he said love covers a multitude of sin, he's talking about forgiveness. In order to have forgiveness, you must repent. The black church got forgiveness before repentance. You can't forgive for something nobody repented. You just walk in the church, y'all all forgiven. No, you supposed to repent. That's why you got baby dedication. You got married couples with children in front of the church with two other people standing there. Ain't no daddy, just mama and grandmama. Just mama and grandma. That's all we got. Mama and grandma, because you went to the college and got knocked up. Well, at least she did go to college and try to be what, a hoe? What she try to be? And somebody always got a reason for why they did it the wrong way instead of saying, yeah, I screwed up. Hey, look, I went to the college. I got buck wild. I went to a couple parties. Dude, we got drunk and we sat here and we did something. I got pregnant and I got to do this because he didn't want a baby. He didn't want me. Whoa. How did you know he didn't want no kids? How you know he didn't want no kids? Oh, you told him after you was pregnant. So in other words, you didn't even know this man's name, didn't even know this man's background, didn't know this man's mentality, but you screwed him. And you want to know why we keep getting men, black community, keep turning out men like this.
I want to talk to somebody.
Okay, have a seat. Have a seat.
Why are you grabbing me?
Have a seat now.
Why are you grabbing me?
Have a seat. Have a seat or
I
turn around.
haven't done anything.
Okay.
I'll go.
Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
He reached for the gun. Now let me ask y'all a question. What should that officer do? He reached for the gun. What should the officer do? Miss Elena Gertson says, try not to laugh too hard at that one. Your improv is funny. Well, thank you. Come on now. He going for the officer's gun. What should the officer do? Let him grab it? He should call for backup. Oh, so he should call for backup. Don't y'all have a problem every time police officers call for backup, 3-4 show up to stop the situation?
He's trying to grab my gun. He's trying to grab my gun. Get off my gun. Get off my gun. Get off my gun.
He deserved every last one of those licks. Let me ask a question. Should police officers go back to the old nightsticks? The solid wood nightsticks with a steel rod down the middle. So when they crack you with that mug, you know you've been hit. Should the police go back to them old school nightsticks, them ones the MPs and stuff used to carry, that solid piece of wood with something stuck down the middle? Because they don't want to be shocked. They don't want, so. Trisha Snow Maxon said, you reach for a bullet, you gonna get a bullet.
Get off my gun.
You know what you
Lay
did?
down, fall on your back. Lay down, fall on your back.
You know what you did? You kept driving. You kept driving. You put your foot up and drive. Hey, I gave up. I gave up.
And you know what? I'm so sick and tired of black men when they get in their high-powered whoop, when they try to take on the police. Man, I gave up. Chill, man. Chill. Like you control. How many times have you heard people say, man, chill, man, chill? How many times did St. George Floyd say, man, I'm not the type of guy. Come on, man. I'm not the type of guy. How many times you heard that? I'm not the type of guy. Chill, man. I'm not the type of guy. Tyree Nichols. Man, you doing too much, man. Y'all doing too much, man. Chill, man. Y'all doing too much. Always y'all chill, y'all doing too much. No, Negro, you doing too much. And the first thing black folk want to say, I heard him call his mama. Oh, Lord, he was calling his mama. And you know what? Some of you white conservatives, and yeah, I'm talking some of y'all in my comment section right now, are just as worse. It just hurts me to hear him call his mama. Huh? Hold up. So it hurts you to hear him call his mama, not him fighting the police and trying to get away for breaking the law. But Jamal, you got to understand, as a mother, that hurts me. Oh, so your children gonna be doing that? Let me say that again. Your children gonna be doing that? That sound like your children? Sound like you ain't too good of a mother. Jamal, you got to understand, as a mother, that thing touches me. How does that touch you? They ain't your child. Why that touch you? Was that your children? Your children act like that? Is that behavior accustomed to your household? And you get crap. What's the other video? Oh, I'm going to go on and play this. Like this. I'm going to go back and play this video real quick.
What else?
Pick up habits.
What else?
Bad policies.
No. What else? See, See, you're jumping to policies.
But it is bad policies. Wait a minute.
No.
If I lead a company,
The underpinning. Hold on, wait.
If I run a company and I'm the CEO of the company, if the company improves or doesn't improve is based on my policies. I'm the head running the company, the department. If it doesn't improve, it's because of me.
So let me.
What else would it be?
So let me lay it out to you again.
Go for it.
When you talk about what is the underpinning of crime, John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope, this is what he said.
All right, I'm gonna tell you guys where he's going with this, because it's obvious where he's going with this. He's going with poverty, right? He's trying to say that poverty is the reason why all that crime exists, right? There's not enough economic opportunity for black folks because of systemic racism, right? And the system, the white man. Okay, that's what he's gonna get at here.
He said, show me a community where you've seen a riot with a credit score of 700 or higher. The reality is, when you talk about crime in this country, you're talking about economics, you're talking about education, you're talking about housing, you're talking about health. Mm-hmm. Show me areas where you do not have high crime. I'm going to show you areas that don't have the same, aren't as compacted. That's first.
Now, to address his argument on the correlation between poverty and crime, well, there's some studies that do indicate that there's some correlation, but they're wildly inconsistent. In fact, there are other studies, like a study done by Columbia University, that show, for example, when you study poverty among Asians in New York City, the crime rate is quite low, even though the poverty rate is high. Okay, it's like over 20%. But the crime rate is low, right? So again, explain that. If poverty is what leads to crime, then we should see crime in every neighborhood that is impoverished. But that's not true, because most crimes are not committed out of economic necessity. They're committed out of personal issues, okay, arguments, things that don't necessarily have to do with economic necessity. But again, people like Roland Martin, whose job is to alleviate people or relieve people of responsibility and accountability. No, it's not your fault. It's because you're poor, right? It's the white man, it's the system, it's everybody else except you, right? That's this guy's business, okay?
What you have is, when you talk about crime in places, you then look at what are the numbers of people there, what are the pockets there, what are those communities, and how did those communities, how were they created literally not over 20, 30 years, but literally over 50, 75, 100 years. Now, that was Jim Crow.
How many years does it take to change?
What are you talking about?
How many years does it take to create change?
When you have,
how long does it take to create change?
First of all, you're talking to us about a black in America.
How long does it take to create change?
When you have had,
yeah,
okay, walk through 243 years of slavery, 92 years of Jim Crow, and then you get to 1970 when you are technically fully free, you can't act like all of that before did not impact. The issues that you're having now have to do with not Democratic or Republican policies. It has to do with literally white supremacy and Jim Crow in America. We are still, to act as if we are still not dealing with that. How did
It's the white man's fault. Again, notice how this guy doesn't address the actual question. Explain how 27 out of the top 30 cities in America, right?
Hold on.
Genius debater, right? He's supposed to be unstoppable, undefeated, okay?
No, my parents didn't even go to college.
How are you rich then?
What do you mean how?
How are you rich?
Here's
Because he started his own business, right? Race hustling, right? Race hustling. That's why, right? Again, he wasn't necessarily playing victim. I mean, he plays victim for money, but he's not been a victim himself, right? In regards to how he got paid.
how.
How are you
no,
rich?
no, here's how.
Yeah.
Because first and foremost, the neighborhood that I grew up in it was one of the first also
Married
who
together?
also hell yeah, they're still married 56 years. Who absolutely believed in education. Now, what I recognize is, so for me in my household, what my parents emphasized, never went to college. Then my brother went to Texas A&M. I went to Texas A&M. My sister went to Texas A&M. And so that was our house. What I recognize is that somebody who is next door or across the street or around the corner did not have the situation that I had.
Wait, so again, you're admitting that a nuclear family, right? A two-parent household, a loving mom and dad, even if they didn't necessarily go to college, but just a strong foundation is the key to getting yourself out of poverty, right?
And let me say this right here, and let me say something else that the black conservative missed. He missed this point. Roland Martin dad didn't have a college education, but he had a job that he could put 3 kids through college. He didn't have a college education, but he put 3 kids through college. What was the price of college then compared to the price of college now? And how have these loans and grants impacted college to where they charge so much no one can afford to go there unless you're in debt? Anybody want to address that? Notice how Roland Martin admitted his mom and dad didn't go to college. So they afforded his older brother, him, and his sister a way to go to college. How? Did you ever hear of a lead sap? Oh, yes. Ooh, Arthur, you talking about that old little lead thing? You sit there and you take your hand and it, Arthur Birkin, you talking about it's a lead ball right here. And you take your hand and that thing goes back and forth. You hit somebody with that, you will knock them unconscious. Police officers used to carry those. Yes, I know what they are, Arthur Bergman. Police officers used to carry, they call them flapjacks. You talking about a flapjack, Arthur? Let me go and reply to him. You're talking about a flapjack. That's what you talking about. They used to call them flapjacks. Police officers used to carry those like you had your nightstick and you had a flapjack. Any of y'all ever heard of a flapjack? Y'all, has anybody y'all ever heard of a flapjack? Okay, you can still buy a flapjack. You hit somebody with a flapjack, you knock them unconscious. You gonna knock them out. Okay, Kenyon Carter, what a flapjack was. A flapjack is like a piece of lead. It's a thick piece of lead. And it's put inside a leather pocket and sewed up. And it has a handle. I actually have one. Do I have a photo of one? Let me see, can I get a flapjack? Flap. They don't have it. A flapjack. They should call them flapjacks. Just call them flapjacks. Here we go. I found it. Old flapjack. Here you go. I got a picture of it. There it go right here. Used to call them flapjacks. That's what we used to call them. We used to call them flapjacks. You hit somebody with that, you gonna knock them unconscious. You hit somebody with that because all somebody has to do, you see that thing right there in the middle? Look right there. You see right there, Kenyon? That's a lead ball. That's like a lead ball. You hit somebody with that, you knocking them out. Okay, somebody said they called them slapjacks. For them, they call them slapjacks. I call them flap. We grew up, we heard them as flapjacks. That don't let that police officer hit you with that flapjack. Or the stupid stick. Call that the stupid stick, because you want to get stupid with the police, they get stupid with shit. But that's right there. That's a flapjack. That's a flapjack. You hit you knocking somebody out with that. But police officers, I think they need to start back carrying those. I think police officers need to start back carrying those. If they can't use the hands, go back carrying flapjacks. Go back carrying those. Oh, I want to thank Miss Minnie McCormick. Miss Minnie McCormick, I want to thank you for your kindness and generosity. Thank you for your donation through PayPal. Miss Minnie says this: have a great week. Watch the sky, cause our government is telling us it's falling. Chicken chick little ha ha. That was Miss Minnie McCormick. But our police officers need to carry those for protection. Our police officers need to carry those. Because it's getting to the point where our police officers can't do anything. And they still fighting at them, so get that knapsack and hit them on top of the head with it. But as you see, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, it's always going to be slavery. Slavery's the problem. It's always going to be slavery. All right, Mind of Jamal Live, Mind of Jamal Live. We are about to go off Mind of Jamal Live. We're about to shut down on that side. I just posted the Rumble link. I just posted the Rumble link. So y'all can come on over on Rumble. So if you want to come on Rumble, Mind of Jamal Live, Mind of Jamal, please come on over to Rumble. Okay? I look forward to seeing you guys over there.